Swapano, Ayadin.
Asante Mantamu Hanum, regional manager, and open your hand to 3 years so. Magana
Dr. Dominikaine Neka say, no trese. Ononya for Solomon Asamoah, ya Bani Chemu, Abreso Wana Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, GIIF, na Waya Penida no. Suboni Tanzania Debo Papano, Papano Jania Kotna, Senegal, Wama, Ibidinasem.
Abayne mre for penny award no hwe attention so Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominic Ayene and e ka say chemu say ano sika denti aya che no sika o pepe enso e wo dollars mu dollar o pepe enso na enam dwumadie bi so a afa ne nsase e di enti mu nchemu ne enam so ma ne ba yenya e de be mamu
Mambani jo mama na e ka say secretary ne proye and afi to me famroso eni kwa se enya jinabia ewo yamamu ntutuem
dom kuma na wo mra shebe dwafie mu se Attorney General wo ya ma na bro so wo se aso wo ye ditumi na ma na bro so dodo nchechie ni se ye kotu ama
tuma ye na anwumre yi nya bi watana yem na esuma aduru fie wonum ne mantem wonum emfiri ho pa cho oje nkania papa ye de bobo mountain so fie ni yam ane fie no mountain so garden num ni ade bebo pa sanso ana ye wo CCTV cameras and cables are we install here boama bambon some near makuyi at the mapa electrical cables no pure copper 1.5 to 16 mm standing fan ceiling fan brand out boss by electricals at the ninja biaba wo to aton open diako ofie ana 536 095966 esoyana waba promise ba waje ebibidro papa ya FD for nsasase promise ba bibidro oba ni nyina ya de FD for ajatum nko anti bidro ya omanfo eye no ni FD for asen say yanom sajandwa eno na promise ba ya kwa kofa bie ya ye ton dia ma abofo so na dia sa ho nyarewa na ye de no
plot ni nyina eye ne de nti omanfo ne nti omo ho ase ba bia ese ye ka dia budumburam community na nkasa no papa no so ono nko abefa plot be ahanu na wa chekuro ni mu fa afafa
yeti yaren say bebet no asasna hoyi na obi atwa atuaka mo akwa register woni demu until last week landlord fin I committee omo the people number 2 ye nim people no kire say onipa na otwa ni dinde Emmanuel Sam Brown or register assassin our 31st August 2021 ede utufuo
plana kasi ehun se pani o mo se pani ni mo pese ka yan ho ba chembani fo na san ka yesi njai sisi esra aban mra ye papa John Dramani Mahama yes say omla semuemu any police pen say wayi no omlem wadi edaboa ye nti say omanpan oti yankasa na ye say bibi say na ye ya hye ho be bulldozer 10 be du krodua mu a ye be hye ne 10 nti nana bia wo hye ase bia no ya hwewie se na be ya
aye udumfram mais ye bre yanya ya be sisi dan ye firi akwantu o wo so ne ye ne fitichiri pro na mo manya 72 me ya dem me sam ko bosisi e bi e wo ba bia na me sam committee
we ya yo mo ti budumburam no o makosa ma o di tudwa na ubeti aso o mo kan asem ni nyina na nsa na point hwe na nanom saa ba ko no e hwe de o si asase ne ya ne de na nan ni nyina hwe o ma hemfo no enti enam so ama budumburam ehene na na kwadwo esel wa ba bonte wo so mo de omunim ho hwio enti o manfo ne ko o makomanto o no mo nananom behwehwe mu akosi ase o mo behwehwe so obi amebu nkrofo adan enwu
eye mi nana kwadwo sa otodo bi gumu abudumburam odiko na mempanifo tufo hin o mankrado na mpanifo a wo mechi kasa ne ate adwuma ne se wo ye na anadwe se wo ye no anopa ye hu enti o mama ye te kasa na nsia na ye te kasa de obi si wa register wampa yakuma ne yakuhu krata bi a ochelu obi si wa register ho a ohini biara nsan ni na wa register so nya bandamuda no de yekọ yitu anamo ye ma lands commission fu ba ye survey ne yekọ for proper search this ya ye bibia wi a ye de ko lands commission a ye gudu a ye twon search report no ba ne hu nipa odi da man yamrasam na ye tumi na famra kwan lo ma aban nyina di da mamrase ti ye gudu ade ye hwehwe da madin nti ye twon lands commission report na se su report no ma ya da ye bada so ndama bebrere ko we adwuma na ye to na wo ye da madwuma wo fe yido a afi botu anamon foforo a ye so ye bobo aban mo nso watuma hu
ma worum entietie ne de da nkrofo ano ya nkrofo kan se omu dane bia ho ma aban no ma aban ni sia ebe free wonum sa oni ano ntiti oni ade ebe tu onum ya de be ma afoforo ni ade wo so oponum che opa ensem bia etete se ya wonum bete ade afa ensem we hu no adwadifo nya botre na wonum enhwemu duro ansa no be je dia wonum age ade
for be when disaster comes like this na yo mukoko season regional minister Dikan aka omo fa so edi awiawia nkrofo niama sebio the other side of it omo agenda omo be fuele some property. It's only insensitive people who will do that. And to mesremo any information that comes to you now, where the information and sana won't be biasia. Thankfully, you have a regional minister who operates an open door policy. He is accessible by the people or to the people. He listens to everybody. You see, up to now, I've seen how he's interacting with almost everybody. What he be now on tia approach him and the team. No munye inchre Asiamah intimesremo. Let's focus on getting the fire quenched and then sitting down to see what we can do together to get the place in shape and then businesses moving.
Na ninyina mu Maslock abano ewo se tu nwache pa se ko be fa so na wabo adwadifo ya na anu jabrani ama onum ehwo aka obabo wonum
ye be hye adwadifo ne dey se enye mugina sese no omo ankasa omo betimi aye omo adwuma enti especially a man senior minister kan no we are with you through it and me man ni mebunu no so we are with you through it sen there was a Maslock ye bia senior be ya monsa ebetimi asan akoma no biom no ye beboa na sa etimi abaso ye dase
yo enti Maslock ba pani ya wa ba beda no ma me Abigail Elom Mensa nene ana ya so ya tibi efri ni hoyi
yeah, to us work on some food from Mentifido Mantamu and yeah call regional manager Emma Ghana Water Limited. Yeah, one over Mentifido Mantamu, yeah, Northern Region. Steven, I'm here, Mensa. And watch was a illegal samono, or Majumaya no yana who a dema won pa. And watch was say, so repa Mentifido Mantamuno. And so yeah, I was and committee me at the Mawa man for Honomono, 90,000 cubic meters. Per day, they be a corridor, and it western corridor. Eastern corridor, Yansu na watching. Now Yatum, now western corridor, so Yansu na watching. Now Yatum, what is a me to drive and watching a year, Nampany for twice or Ama Area Sinina in Supapa Nom Edda.
Currently, our best production is 38,000. It ranges between 35,000 38,000. But the current demand of tamale is about 90,000 cubic meters a day. So you see the deficit. So in order for us to be able to serve the people of Tamale, we are doing water ration or supply management. What it means is that we give the eastern corridor for 7 days, then put the water to the western corridor also for 7 days. And you bear with me that there are still issues, and the issue stems mainly from our own people, our practices. Most people in Tamale are doing illegal connection. They will not allow the water to pass through their meters for us to even read the meters and get revenue to fix their problems. Again, even in distribution, when we try to do the rationing, they temper with our valves. When you have decided to send the water to the eastern corridor, in the night, somebody will go and temper the valves and ship the water to the western corridor. So the impact as designed is not felt. So there's always like western water being shared by a lot of people. So the impact is not felt. And again, people are using inline pumps. These inline pumps are bought by the rich. They put it on our lines, and then they draw the little water that goes into an area, into their houses. So until those people get the water that they need, other people will not get. So you see that if the water is in one corridor, if in that neighborhood there are people using inline pumps, the water goes to them, and then later people will not get water even at all. And then we just that also the steps is the road contractors. So they start doing road construction. The normal thing is to get us involved so that we show you where our pipelines are. And then you budget for the relocation of the pipeline.
Alright, Steven, I'm here. Mensa, and then the announcement was so best. Timamufo no manfo say water where say for ne ba no mu be ready meters na say dey say bu omo na yenyai.
And one other thing is that our meter readers are also being assaulted. If you assault the meter reader, he's a young man who has been employed by the company. Cannot take the major decisions to get water. So if the young man comes to your house to read the meter and give you bills and threaten or you beat the person, next time you'll be afraid even to come to your neighbor and the problems will compound. So we are appealing to the numbers of the reader to help us. So these small things, that's our attitude. We minimize.
And so no ma any ayeti ye eyowura Steven Amihe Mensa na so ho Alfred Jatosman we assemblyman wo Bawa Barak na ono so di tudwa chem so obesra ban ene mpanimfo so water wise fo mfidi omo de ye adwuma no akeki omo nsesa no.
We were told earlier in their offices that the machines they are using currently somewhere is in the Tamale metropolises and its environment. So that is actually why they brought us here, for us to appreciate their problem, so as to communicate to the general public to also get to understand what the problems are. Having come here, my appeal is to the authorities that be to come to the aid of Ghana Water Company in the northern region by way of replacing some of their water plants, get larger capacity plants, so that the water can be processed in large quantities for the distribution of the entire municipality, Tamale Metro and Sanaro and its environment. Because as assemblymen, we are going through a lot of problems. People think that we are also part of the problem, even though we are not working in Ghana Water Company. They are not getting water and they think that we are not getting. My area for one, Cognitive to be specific, when they ration the water and open it.
Orura Alfred Jato Osman, why assemblyman of Bawa Barak Abato Farium, Ewa Mentifido Mantem Neneyate.
Yamra me pimo Achumanga Biaja TV Group, Wabidi Reporter Moa Santimantamua, Mumasia Quantrefo, Orura Frank Dia Ajaman, one idea is ready to just say, Ankran Kudu, Kuensha Bansia. Ane aban wanka samo modena omrama bwana etin wochiremua ba na otwemi ensantem nie brani etu ye amache bare ma efie makomako ba se oha ane aduonum esopa ye na suku adan ahodo ewo mu besi sa abre ba na otwemi ensantem nie kire se ama humasuansem ayeden pa ati ama emofra ya wonum ekosuku ewo amache bare ne potem ntia da roma wo stresse o ma no mpanifo ne eku awdo yebetuma bibia fa woni manim ya ba beboa yemra yemeko wonum emwa
from my boy ne de esusan so de abrem no ahadwen pa wo hwa mi schools no ye JHS ne primary schools ne nyina nchen se so apa nti asema ya sefim pa meno kasa se nkwala no ewofie efise so hwe nchen a pepa ne electric wires egu form ne ade a enye safe se nkwala no ebe o school nti yeguso ne mpanifo edi nkomo hwe se mwa ebetimi de aboa na animanim ya yetimi asiesie ye school dan no matimi asan aba school asisi ameno kasa de nyenya ba bia ye hwe se bia kan sorry e wo ha ne bebie o mapono e de amae na kan kwala no atena no say menemo kasa de SDA preparatory school and amae dan ba akosanka ye JHS 3-4 no anka ye inform ngumu ntro ma de kakra nti mefa kwanya so na madam ase so mo bie sa dan de amae na no so de just one classroom nti say la ne hiamwa yehiamwa krankra bia mbetimi abaye mwa bia no yensa de yensa ye momra maye mwa ni
Wei Ora Frank Dia Ajaman ya we ngumesu kwankyerefo a wo atwemanwa biaje tifi Gropon abedi akire potamo asante mantemu o srese yemayo no mu ana mache bare hum no ase ade pa
ensensama na wa bontense bambofo akwachi National Signals Bureau Director General Ora Kwabena Edubu ahen no FS Kabi Hon, someone and someone Abama, a Sonny General, Ya, or no ya Abama anymore for ya, or no asai or swap for her attention and so. Ora Dominic Ayini or Munyam for. While friends and Joe Shamu, ya, I bet church in Sin say, ya, in some way, of course, or was say. Frampen for another bamboo for through Rayinano. Na so ya hono so mo na ehwe ehu se nipa bonfo bi na mabefo kwan so ehu dwumadi e be ye o man ne bone ana dwumadi bi be koso a wo mbetimi ya di bone a enti abefo kwan na so sika bi emfidie hu bi bibia wo so mo koto na mo di be di dwuma Israel mema dwumakuo bi eye LLC Holdings Limited for ono mo kwasan ye no dwiri mu die bi ko mu ya menteme ho ase bi mo sika no some dollars no pepenso $7 million enu nti no mo frɛ no anase mpanifo ekofa no wo be kyerɛkyerɛm no watimi amomahu sika no sɛ de yeye baabi e faaye ene ho nsɛm no ma hwehwɛ mu ahu sɛ contract no wo sign no opepon ɛda na to so aduasa emfie mpinu no aduonu emu ɛyɛ 30th January 2020 ɛna sa contract no ho nsɛm ekɔso
Mr. Dubois was a co-signatory to the BNC's director's account at Fidelity Bank. While serving as director of BNC, however, he and his wife, Miss Angela Ejeboatin, registered a company on October 23rd, 2018, which they named, and listen carefully, BNC Communications Bureau Limited. It is important to note that the similarity between the names here, that is BNC, was designed, to engage in a criminal enterprise, which will unfold as I go further. For purposes of differentiation, we will call the private company Private BNC and call Ghana Signal and National Security BNC the National BNC. Mr. Dubois, who is the head or who was the head of the BNC, and his wife are listed as directors of the private BNC. Okay, so they registered the company, and they, the two of them, together are the directors of the company, the two directors of the company. On October 26, 2018, the couple opened a corporate account for their private BNC at Universal Merchant Bank, UMB. According to the mandate on the account, either of the directors could sign checks and approve transactions on the account. In his capacity as director of the National BNC, Mr. Dubois on January 30th, 2020, signed a contract on behalf of the government of Ghana and the National Security Council on the one hand, and on the other hand, an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was for the purchase of a cyber defense system software at a price of $7 million United States of American dollars. Let us call this contract the GOG ISC contract. On February 6, 2020, Mr. Dubois then transferred an initial amount of 27,100,000 Ghana cedis.
Dominic Ayini, ya no ye abamre anim for penny or sayo so for her attention in some so Attorney General and Minister of Justice and watch him with the announcement into a ray your cofa no a yo right a Dubois here no a Director General National Signals Bureau.
Nanya or Chinese Ura Solomon Asamoah or also the say Wadi Hane Senegal Manu Aquas and answers to oppose to umpo or mano ya denba koko to akudi no asem na Ura Dominic Ayini ne nsantrofo asia mu no ase no no kire se Ura Solomon Asamoah medical bonity abani etwa mu MPP abreso and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund ya etwa ntiafra no GIIF ona na epani ya na wotano wono nso so boy de bo no America dollar chop up dollar se wo pipi mienu $2 million bi ya samuka ya babeto dwaba na etwa mu na wonu keke kan ma yete yese ye be sky train e won kran ya na amanfo kuro bisa se na mo be ma train akofa wiem woni eto mbo frotu ni atwemo no mbe gina he na atonto ankrofo kura de ya asresem kakra ne ade no besi sabre sky train no amaso na ba amaso no se na hu sika na hu sikatua ne ade so de ekoso ama $2 million ye kirem se na Sky Train no hu dwumadie bi na Sky Train nso antumi amaso ne no na Dr. Dominic Aine wo to ansenso no kirem se omu ye hwehwemu kakra ekọ ye no makwa akomu se Owura Solomon Asamoah woni Professor Ameyokumfi ana wonum seye omu se board of directors no ema wonum ekoko yi sesika no ekoko tua ses kahunu ya ene aye kahunu o ma na nya mfaso obi amfiri munti Owura Solomon Asamoah ba bi obi ebedina asem no se bosumi wajefo no ne da na tosumienu na papa ne krai so o tukwa akọ South Africa okọ South Africa afei onum di na chi di omani kan ya papa no akọ Senegal omu fra no a oso no onyama Ghana ne oye no onyama kira bosumi ensantem no wasi yo bosumi ensantem omu twan na eso se bosumi ensanduru na so ama ombedi no asem na asem no ye ka no absence anu bi sa na because oni won so asem ni yedi yenti ai.
In respect of Sky Train, we can confirm that the $2 million was paid at the request of the chairman of the board of directors of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, that is GIIF, Prof. Ameya Ikumfi, and then and then the CEO, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, who is currently hiding in Senegal. We tracked him first and noticed that he was in South Africa. So he left Ghana somewhere around February 2nd, the 2nd of February, to South Africa. So we were monitoring him in South Africa. And then he left South Africa and is now in Senegal. When we contacted him, he told us that he will not come to Ghana until I think he didn't say April, 3 months from now. Okay, so he's giving us 3 months to come to Ghana, very much like Ken Oforiatta, right? It reminds me of Ken Oforiatta. So he says he will come to Ghana in 3 months. So we are patiently waiting for him. If he wants to be tried in absentia, that is his choice to make.
Enti omufra no ozo ndi onyama Ghana. Njira bos odi bosumi enso Senegal. Via kwani.
I will say ya twaka se bono so Daddy Asiamah higher promise 102.7 FM Promise TV so minority anadom kuma mo mra hye bedwafie mo muzu kokwa ai omo se attorney general Beni aden as arrest no say ya cheche nkrofo ni ekofu ntum fra mamanfo fie ni omo ni ememu no ya abro so dodo na nwanwa se abanda dan mu nkrofo so nko a na wodi edi omo na enedom kuma no omo friends ntwofo nhia mu ma second deputy minority whip Jerry Ahmed Shaibu na enense ntwofo no di nkomo wodi nsam ni tudwa na ocheche mu ade besi se ye kaso obi ya attorney general wono na adwumati tu pa ne se wode emramu afutusam ebema hwehwemu bi a ekoso bi legal counsel to investigative agencies no wode ebema wo mo na abekro no judiciary ni ye atemu adwumakuo no so no wobebo mo no mo de atentene ne justice aye adwuma aso we de ni hwere no wo mo maduru ha hwere no wo mo maduru ha hwere no wo mo maduru ha waka asa we die asa na adwuma no wa ya ma na traso.
Attorney General is an officer of the court. His interest is to assist the court in dispensing justice when investigators bring their case and evidence. The poster of the new AG undermines this rule. He is no longer acting as an officer of the court, but is instead acting as someone who has conducted his own inquisition, determined guilt of a suspect, and is seeking to force his view or his views on the courts. The practice undermines the role of the Attorney General and undermines the administration of justice. All well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on it to an end and to end it now as we speak. We are asking that all well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on the Attorney General to put an end to this immediately. The Attorney General is not expected to start off by prejudicing an investigation and in his mind conducting an inquisition on suspects. Since when did we have an Attorney General who himself orders arrest, conducts investigations, and examines his own evidence to determine if a prima facie case is being documented or docketed against a suspect? This is highly improper and leads to bias right from the investigation process. Let the court decide the guilt or innocence of suspects. The new approach where the Attorney General seeks to convict political opponents in the court of public opinion before going to the court of competent jurisdiction is an abomination that should not be countenanced.
Ora Jerry Ahmed Shaib ya wono ye second deputy minority whip parliament wono ne yete nka na osan to aso biom edensam to dwa wo chemu say Dr. Ernest Addison ya no ye Bank of Ghana governor kom fa so kura ko ni fie no ne tia mra so kura de omokoye wo hono no na wo kan wo say asam de se bi ni adanse etwa bi ya adanse national security coordinator na kura be pa Ernest Addison achew say o man ni say na nya mra kwan so.
Photographs circulating on social media clearly shows signs of destruction and ransacking, hardly the marks of a lawful and respectful operation. If indeed a court-issued warrant truly existed, why was it not presented to Dr. Addison before or during the raid? Why was brute force used to overpower his private security? Why was the CCTV camera dismantled and taken away? Transparency is a hallmark that ensures lawful enforcement. The failure to follow basic procedure casts doubt on the legality and intent of the operation. No amount of legal contortion or public relations spin can undo the facts. Dr. Addison's home was raided under highly questionable circumstances. If the actions were truly lawful and above board, why did the National Security Coordinator find it necessary to call and apologize to Dr. Addison via the phone of Mr. Richard Jakpa? If there was no wrongdoing with the conduct of the security officers, what exactly was the apology for? And perhaps more importantly, if that apology was authorized, is Mr. Jakpa being entirely honest about what transpired? Attempts to sanitize this action by claiming he had access to legal counsel does not.
Ora Jerry Ahmed Shaib ya wono ye deputy minority whip na yete ne nka se the medical di acheche nsem ni mama no.
Mampani John Dramani Mahama enei Ghana Armed Forces Council wabo moten ya ene wapao woni a wonum na ebehwe na wonum ada no na Onumaya Council no jinatuko de ma waman Ghana asrafu djuma no na wonjuma die no ase ya wonum so afena mu asaye adisi akantam ena mampani John Dramani mama de ato wonu ani sa dawroma ade ba ko ehia pa se woman yetimi hwe ne ebo ho ban ene edi kan keta asese se ye be ye free asetra ne abrabo mafi esubone ene brabone ne oni a onum fa tumi ma ne broso tumi mroso ye niema bia ose yehwe na yeyi ni nyina akwa efiri wo manga ne afra na ne yatran ye baabi biara ene oto ansa so akirem se ye kaso o ma bi ho ode a enye o man no ne kase ne tetrete ene emu enipa ya ahyemu ma ana akode ya wo man no ewo ne mum suban pa ya kanifo ewo o man no onum eda no adie adidi o man no anim na afi won so age ntete ese esom o man no tete pa ya onum kwaje on di adwuma ne akwasibro ni kind of professionalism eno na boa ema o man ahoden yede ehuna no nti o gina no aka se adawroma Armed Forces Council ummo moten na super brapa na oma bibia mu na ho mu mfa bibia nsiesie wada bibia nkata bibia so na omu emfa tetepa enya adwuma na moa wo man no.
Distinguished members of the council, the strength of any military is built on the foundation of discipline, integrity, and ethical leadership. It is not just the weapons or the size of an army that define its effectiveness, but the character, morale, and professionalism of its personnel. Ghana has long prided itself on having one of the most disciplined and respected military forces in the world, and we must never take this for granted. As members of the Armed Forces Council, we must ensure that the highest standards of ethical conduct, transparency, and accountability are maintained within the ranks of our armed forces. Corruption, misconduct, and abuse of power must have no place in our military. Your leadership must inspire confidence, fairness, and trust, both within the armed forces and among the Ghanaian people. Strong military is one that earns the respect of its citizens through service, integrity, and unwavering dedication to duty.
Mampeli John Dramani Mahama na yatinini.
The more Kwabenya Traditional Council, and another more Bejoku, your more Kwabenya. Editor Mampeni John Dramani Mahama, same say Jata and him. And after my shepherd, your film Casama for honorable ask Bagben. And you must say, O Mother Roma. Omumura mubi na atomic yes I say home menteme ho ase penchen sorry wo ho no omumra emekama bibia enaboko na asam ne sen ense twofo hia mu ye omofra ni ayi anakonte ya wodi kan ga agbola piam tumawe ne nsam odi tudwa ya wo chemu nyina ne se kamia yes atomic energy for no ashada to asase ni bia ma banda dan mu nkrofo abem mpanifo bi atoton sase wo hono ma enkanya no kwan so no enya saa so na nka wo se eye enti amantinyu ahwo bi aba ho a wo sra ese mpanifo yi mra mu ni mani mu ya no mo be ma asomdwe ni adwobre emra ho o makeka akra sensase ya ye ke o mampani dada akofo epreso ebenso eno wo dane ye edemani odai nto abusua ya e wo ho so enwanwa sa atomic energy fo no atonton ma banda dan mu nkrofo bi
released the same MPP government in 2008 that released the land with some of their officials who were then in office with President Kufuor, His Excellency, knowing that these portions of the land has been released, stayed on until they got power again in 2016 and ventured back into action and started taking these lands that have been given to Alodia owners. It is sad that as old as President Kufuor is now, becoming a president and being respected to that level, and then he leaves office to go and sit in the house, and then his own people turning around him and going back what could be considered as his most credible achievement within the Ghana state, and his own group of people turning around and going back and then looting on that same properties. It tells you their level of disrespect that they've shown against our Excellency President Kufuor. The next issue has to do with currently those at the Ghana Atomic Energy who are giving out indentures. I never knew Ghana Atomic Energy has been converted into Lands Commission.
Ni ayi ana konte ya wodi kan wono ye ga agbola piam tumawe wono ne yete ne nka no na akokọ dagbete ya otoso mi no se kwen mada ewo kwabenya na se ohema ewo ho so mo wogidie pa ewo mampani mahamamu se omo ha wo mo di atudwe obesom no asisi amawo
ensha ebe 10 years aye di wo mo pinsu aye hu so mo ton ya de no etre so on beton first no pa yanu heya baby a market no wo yesi bet ya be ewo ama wo hu nti ye fans sekantu ya wonka ya sase na aka so a ahomobro wa ye be fa no sa no na editi aka sase no na makers asisi dai bebre wu kwakwan so a mbrosa odo mu makers no sisi dai no me ko be sa no a asase 25 no si obema mi 2 million
na kokọ dogbate ya wo ya kwen mada no hema wo kwabenya ono so ensam eno no
ya ko yanim e won sem fufurum na wono nyafo say ni Alexander Kwam na afenyo Markins ya wono na NPP amanyoku anase don kuma mrase dwafiem oda won ma no na odi nsem bi tudwa na okirem semre bi atwamu ade bi ndisi amanyoku no mpanifo yeye na ntwa ye kura wo se 2016 ye to abawie ya NDC we ye ya onum akwakwotena fie na AME Zion JHS school toilet school no aja na bia ya school mofra ne akyerkyerefo unum ayomu ye ewomu ya Professor Johnny Vance atamels ni siye ewo efutu abato mbasuaso na ndisi mpanifo atum mato agana bianum adan a party no awe abato no malusi nti wonum atum na ni nyina mu no na o kyeremu se adawro ma wosre se efutu ngumesua kwankyerefo ne posi fo no ne badwaba assembly member onum moten na onum entu ho anamo na onum emi agana bia no emfa emasu Ghana. Quite.
We've had some lamentation from the head teacher regarding the need for a public toilet. To my left is a 10-seater public toilet. But I share with you an unfortunate story behind this. A party activist took the keys to this public toilet because, according to him, when the facility was commissioned, the keys were handed over to him, and it was his party that was in power then. And for 8 years, when the MPP was in office,
Ononya for Alexander Fenoma ke interese inche wow jana bia ka just free 2016 basis abri atum NDC Lucy about 2016 basis abri
of ade bere ni ntia
afia ko anim ko
ya demo ko mfifi manta mo twifu ati mokwa mensimu na twifu dome abra nyame anim no kurani sade o manfo nani abre no o mo se chese ha adwen se obi wo twifu dome abra ho no ma school a chese eya akase wo kakra betimi abo emu ahomeka no ewo eye twifu atimokwa kuro no emu na sade hote twifu praso ane wo obekọ agisa watwa nsuo nti monhwe o school fo nkwala nkete no mototo kudu mu etwa nsuo mo se afi etwa mu no kra de afi ya imu no akra ba ko de chese kanu no ana akodo no kabutu ya ne se ohwere ne nkwa ya ekuafo so omo no ba ye nyina na aka nsuo eja omo ntimi mfama nti omo sre ekuaku ansha aban asese sa aban kra meye bibi mo omo a ekuaku ni hu omo mobo no mo meye bibi a ebe ye kwan bi sansam suo sede ebetumi abo ma akobadi ho nsem omo ho ahare wo
trebia oba ha kra na boys no wa ha ofo shamana kra na omo nto bo maire ofo shamana trebia kra na shamana am ndizano ya de ha ma ai students no mo river na chino e na ba ne se mbua o de maire so obua e kakra
no se obi tom ne se wan share jacket a otunu ana ohwe nenkwa enti am se last year ebisi wa ha nipa ni share life jacket anka in fact me ne say sa de no ebetu no esi enti so anu etasi pa enti aban onboy
ana say say ya brepa intumi nya obi obekai wa aban mo boy kakla nombre life jacket ana say bibi o de ble oboboy bia
abe body e banche eni koko nyina e de free so na chiba den so ye ne nhama kase wa ema senso ni twedu a nso ni iri aye blepa enye obi na dumu ya de nkete miene ye hawa ewo ye ho ano no nkola be blefi nso na chi be school okulum ha yesra ban se wo moaye
we akuafo awofo ene school fo ya omo wotwifo domi abra ena omo di omo sun to mpanimfo anim no hwe nkola nkete ntotofewa na omo tetokudu omu ekọ school no na ye to aso ye kọ na ye ne Reverend Isaiah Chei atakora edi nkomo ye sofo a oda kwa Hamidan so Methodist asori ano na ye adwada idie eye dan a ye di nkomo na ye nkomo die no ekofa se ye kase wiase obi a wone pe ene ne wo pe ya e wo se woye na ne nkomo ni ye tiawa ye bisa se epe bia na ye ye won so so woni papa so ana say ya papa na say ya bone no nkomo ene ne sofu ebedie enti ene de nkomo ni begina Lucas empati dunum yimudu ba akokosi aduasa prodigal son no woje na japade nyina firi ne papa nchen no okoye afede mprekwa aduane na no wodi no eno mu nkomo a eno no papa mpacha woteme ka Christ na so medwe enkan
asubie enkan so mame yako
na enka sofu mame nso
Chiawene Promise Radio and TV at your phone.
Papa nti said ya kan say e pekura de obi a woni pe obi a woni choice ya kan e pe na nsunsuaso ya e wo so no yesi bi wie bone e bi wie papa ene ne ka ho nti ho nkomo nene ya beje fi o
ya de uradi ase so ma ye akonya fufu do ada fufu bi ene topic aye ka ho so no basubrenyi Abrapa boy is full of choices. There be that was sorry no pa. Who near me news when my was a wee backo. It I say, my sorry, lady, and I'm a sorry, and I'm sorry. Minina a choice, yeah, and I say Gina pa, and nipa, who see or wabrabum. Now, and the idea, shit. Abrantie bi wo trose mu a o si ginaye bi na ginaye no enwie no yie Bible no mu no e feno the prodigal son the kind of oba ohini ana oba adesefo na abrantie no e make choice bi abrantie no choice a o make ye ne se na me papa wo e ade I just had no carni bremuno. At the end of the baby and so a brand I train and train the verse 12 of Luke chapter 15. A brand for request could be some panese. When a dear you not the Benjamin media. Some dear mammy. The ma branch to Sana morning in answer. No person found here. It is the first choice I granted Mickey and was wrong. Say, all request a Japan Catana area. Now, change a Canada as a Japan about the area. Now, so a branch and Kubisa, I say, Papa, one funny man. Or Kenya and Japan, or some Mickey, another choice. Another choice I branch and say, or the Japan fee, major fee. And our Papa and can you be guided? Papa no veteran, choir, or Fasua, putting your boy the Padian by Nanka influence. Nanso or pray, say, will be free, nega, if you. Another choice, blue, a brand in the key and say, what the Sikana would I know, or ball out of Ibra. And the Abrebia no Nipa or Aquina, I would woman. So we make a choice, papa, and also we make a choice, and the papa. The Abrasiana edge adia Japadiano, but free legacy. Choice you to you and say, I was saying, and say, what is the canon of ball our Shibra? None could be to this idea, a chuma fro, unless it can be about the canon, but of Giano, what the ball our Shibra. Just may a footwear a day by a and can. Yamrantie eli maba wano mponwa and say there were akonya three big decisions for ourselves you akonya say making choices but adie bia nsusuye bia wo yem dinaye bia wo sinin nano gere hu yinu ne hu se ya be ye ni nei emfaso be ba so ma be otina ya be ye ni nei emfaso be ba so ma me doctrine amoya bi tunne emfaso bi be ba so ma me otina anase na betie ene na me hwe di do social media so na re ho e pa ade bi a trend ya e friend unim red no unim red ni na ya tablet dia ampian no na o shen se ki obi anu ma de no na o tin mota ka wo kura no mo timi fa tin mota no but the one check the cafe dia no at men and tin mota no e gu short pan therefore
no ojane ojina fa ko no ototo na za te za de o
me kokra ensu no ojina ho ani ma we nyina choices and me bia e kwan bia ye fa so dina ye bia ye sinne o tina no wa brabo
Papa nti yamfa ne say choice no ma choose to be ma make me choice. Amwa me say the prodigal son there no yamfa to ho a. Say nka achi sa.
Enka achi. But I just say uma wani ba wo ho so. And if you share prodigal son ne de no a Bible no say nani ba ne ho so. Ti nani ba ne ho so no say ya me ye enye mesanya ko meja nchen. Enti enmrei ya twie na ya dwen agina bibi so say yema ye nimra ye ho so. Mami afo ye ni ba ye ho so no enye easy sa. It doesn't come by heart. Just say ye ti onyame asem say. Just say ye tie afutuo. Just say ye di akwankyere free will be ho. Na who make a choice no, especially so ya branch ya ya baba wa. You don't think about the future. What you need what now? What you need the basic at home. We say office oh. Me poswa ya branch ya. Me poswa ya baba wa. Amo de ne be poswa kura me ya. Patenti sa. Ntemrei yamba ye ni emra ye ho so. Say ye ni ba ye ho so a we can make amends. Ye betumi asisi. Me afakwan foforo so na aboye.
Papa comment you cry ho baby how dey yes no mu da ho papa ya da wase ene wo bre nyame so nhira wo esa bibia ye ba opruma wo bie ye na wotimi kirekire emma afoforo enya wa so redem nko amansan nyina etimi enya so emfa so
that I'm asking so for the opportunity.
Ya chia so for mame oba pa wata wachi mame doctor.
Okay.
Ya that's it. Abusuafo for Reverend Isaiah Chei Atakra. Kwa abedan so Methodist sofo na yene ne edi nkomo.
3p garlic mise pacho ye garlic edru papa ye wo se onya biye nom edura mpacho enkansuo na enkanja nti se de oba de bo no sa pepepe no ma chinse mu abefo kwan so na edi mu ahodene no esa nyare wawdo nti bo modene no bi ye edura ye nyare ansa ne anom ne bi immune system bi seboa mani padua no eti apopapa apanya ahode ma otimi ye adwumaden de boa Ghana nkanko ene Ghana mpuntuo pacho yare no so abo awurawo mu ayi do abroso stroke edwa to form atma be ma adwonso ntente mo adwonso a wo brani ade prostate nsem pacho ubetima nom 3p e be bo papa oba nso be yo ba sima ama bibia akoyie be bia 200 bia obenya 3p garlic me say drone bia to titru promise e ba o ipa ne promise yase wo ba benya 3p e drone no dudu bia wo pe na wato anom 0248 928824 0248 928824 so na obefre
abusuafo eha na yede kasebo no AC ele Black Stars gina kono anti yakwaje commentary no Solomon Carter ene aboafo nkaye ni nyina ewa ha Emmanuel Odro Korea ene Sam Jimmy Cliff producer Edusi Pokuya Dokas omo ewo server room a omo som ye sana achi wo ho Sly wo ho Kofi and Joe enso ewo ho nom ebi MC afo so ye da obi ase yantwiwa Philip Ben ene Christian midin edemame efia nyako papa bi ena menua bema
wova ta frempon yadom asiama monity ene hwe me name Solomon Carter one edom no to amoso